welcome back to Cross the Globe. My name is Stephanie and this is the channel about cross stitch. And today we are actually in my living room, which I don't normally show you guys because I'm not in love with this couch. I'm not replacing it till my kids are a little bit older. Anyway, that's why I'm coming to you from a new location. So today is my 2025 finish braid. So this is everything that I finished from the state fair drop off last August to today, where I'm going to drop off stuff for the state fair. It's just a good time for me to do a finished braid because everything I want to take to the state fair, I need to FFO if it's not already and get it all organized. And then anything I'm not going to enter, it's pretty easy to just pull out and add to the pile. Allison was going to do this with me. We did ours together last year, but her life has been lifing and she decided she did not have the bandwidth to frame anything and that she hated framing and she didn't want to do it. And I was like, well, you can still like film. She's like, no, I just can't. She does not have the bandwidth this week. So I was like, okay, I'm going to keep going, but do you want me to enter the piece that I framed for you or that I am framing for you? And she was like, yeah, that's fine. Actually, I need to double check. I'm going to see her on my way. She has something I need to drop off at the state fair. So I'm going to double check that she's cool with me entering it. Because her exact words before we got to that part were like, I won a blue ribbon last year. I'm set for life. And that's kind of how she is. So I believe her. But I probably will enter every year forever because I love it. So, that was a ramble, but I haven't seen you guys in a long time and I miss you guys. I recorded a whole Flosstube last week that did not record any sound, and so I had to delete it. So I feel like I saw you guys, but I didn't. And my son just started kindergarten on Thursday, and so like getting ready for kindergarten and not having any like childcare during the day. Most days of the week I've had some help, but not like very much. Like I've had more help than the person who's helping me, my mom, should have to do, but not as much as like my sanity needs to not go insane. So I've been slowly going insane. I feel like I'm talking like that. So between getting my son ready for kindergarten and getting ready for the state fair and like frantically finishing things, I'm a little wackadoodle, but after I drop this off and we kind of settle into the school year this week and everything, things should be getting back on track. Anyway, all that is to say, I feel a little rambly, but whatever. We're 3 minutes in. I should start showing finishes. So basically, I'm not exactly sure what number of finishes I have because, and I did 2 of my finishes I don't have to show you here, but I'll show you pictures, where I can. Actually, I'll show you pictures, at least a screenshot of me holding it up at some other point. Anyway, okay. So let's dive in. We're going to go kind of like in no particular order, and I will try to tell you the category that I entered things at the state fair and info about the finishing process that each one went through, because some are thrifted frames I framed myself, some are thrifted frames that I took in to get framed, and some are professionally framed. Some other things happened that we'll talk about, but anyway, I'll try to tell you as much as I can, but I don't want this video to be like crazy long, so let's jump in. Okay. So I'll start with my sampler, because this was my sampler September sampler last year. This is Delia Conger. This is by Shelly, who's Antique Needleworkers on Flosstube, and that's her design company. I stitched this on 28 count antique white. I think I mostly used her DMC conversion. There might have been, oh, I had to change the pink, I think, because it wasn't showing up that well. And my light is a little bit strange in here because I've never filmed in here before, so I have as much light as I could find, but obviously I'm a little backlit, so I'm going to try to, if it doesn't look good, I'll try to fix it in post so that it looks more accurate. But this is a thrifted frame. But I did take it in to get framed because I have a rule that if I try to frame it myself 3 times and I can't get it right, then I'm allowed to go spend the money to get it professionally framed. I just could not get it to line up and look normal. And I did finish this last September or October. it has been up in my house. That's the only bad thing about taking, like, getting stuff done and enjoying it all year, and it's a little bit dusty by the time it's time to take it to the fair. But I love it. I love this thrifted frame. It had some weird art in it. Like, the person at Goodwill even commented, like, you're buying this for the frame, right? And I have another one of these frames that I was going to give to Allison, but I don't think she needs it anymore, so I'll use it for something. All right, so that is number one, and I'm going to enter that in the sampler category. Okay, this is, right, this is Love Bug. This is by me. This is the pattern that I submitted for the, a charity bundle that was hosted by Donna, who is Stitch X Love, on Instagram and on us at her design company. This is stitched on 16 count Ada from a craft store that I dyed, and it is, called Love Bug Quaker. I don't know if I already said that. I did go ahead and release this pattern, I think in June. So this pattern is in my Etsy store, and I've seen some people stitch it up, and it's been so, seeing their finishes have been so cute. I'm entering this in the, there's a category we have called like self-charted or like original design or whatever. I'm entering it in that category. And the other thing I'm entering in that category is the solar system that I charted and stitched for my son, because that's what he really wanted for his birthday, stitching wise, was a solar system. So I stitched this for him on, I want to say 14 count navy Ada. And I just took like public domain art and charted it and changed the colors and stuff. I have thoughts about how I would do it differently if I were to do it again in terms of like colors, because the picture that I took to use was to chart from was really kind of like desaturated, and I changed some of the colors, but I should have changed more of them. But he did give color approval and everything, so it is fine. Like, he likes it. It's been up in his bedroom since his birthday in January. And this is just like a thrift store frame. And you know, the self-charted category is kind of funny because a lot of people will do like huge things that are like, they're like family portraits and stuff. So I don't know how competitive it's going to be this year, but those are the only two things that it's funny, those are the only two things that I finished this year that I charted myself, even though I'm a designer, because I got a little burnt out of stitching my own models, and I need to get back to stitching my models, and I need to get, and I'm actually about to start one, and I need to get organized in a way to ask for model stitchers, because I know there are people out there who have told me they want to do it. So, but obviously, like Allison stitched, the thing I'm submitting for her is something she stitched that was one of my designs, which is why she gave me the piece, and she's about to finish another one of my designs. Like, I have other pieces that have come out this year because of other people stitching things, but I haven't stitched one of mine, so I need to get back on it. I actually ordered I have to start a model for another charity bundle this weekend, and it's not going to, the fabric's not going to get here till Wednesday, which is a little annoying. But anyway, I ordered a big enough cut that I can do an 8x10 model of my own stitching when, like, on the same piece of fabric. Okay, so these are not in the order that I'm on here, so I don't need to be looking at that. Okay, the next one is Frosted Tiny Town. Now this is my Make It Murder Stitch Along interpretation of it, so it has been redone to be the movie Fargo. I don't think they'll care. There wasn't any places here even to describe what the pattern was or anything, so like they'll have to look at it and clock what's going on to even know that it's different. But I entered this in the outdoor category, so whatever you think of tiny little wood chippers with bodies in them, it is an outdoor scene, so I feel like it counts. And do I love my finishing on here? No. But am I going to redo it? No. I cut my fabric I had my fabric margins large enough when I was stitching, but when I went to finish it, I cut it too short. And that is, that you're going to see that again today. So I can't really do anything about it. Like, I did look up getting it a frame for it on Art to Frame when I was ordering another Art to Frame. They don't make them this small, and So I would have had to get like a mat and stuff, and I don't know if I have enough fabric to deal with that. This is a like board that I got at Goodwill that I sanded like the live, laugh, love sign off of it. And I finished it with some rickrack. Now, do I think that I could maybe take it all off and redo the rickrack and recenter it and stuff? Yes, but I'm not going to. I just feel like the improvement is not going to be worth the time invested in it when this is going to be like very high up on my murder wall. My murder wall is a wall of things that don't look like murderous, but are when you get close up to them. So from far away, there are things that are pretty. And so I'll show you another example of something that's on there. This is a hemlock by Cheska and Cardinal Lindsay Swearge, and this is from her magical cross stitch book. So like from far away, it just looks like a pretty sampler fabric with some words on it, but up close, if you read it, it's about hemlock, the poison hemlocks. So this was stitched on 32 count Stormy Night Lugana. This is stitched on 28 count, I think it's Macchiato by Bestitch Me. And it's charted on black, and I switched it to the samplery neutral, and it does ghost a little bit, but that's kind of the point. It's the whole point. The wall is supposed to be like things masquerading as beautiful that are dark. So this is just a thrifted frame. I think I got this frame at Goodwill. It could have maybe used like a relacing. There's a couple pieces that I don't know what's going on. My ring light does not work in my house, but it works at Allison's house. And so I usually film in my office, and the windows are usually enough light. I think there's enough light now, but whatever. But I don't know why both, and I thought it was broken, so I bought another one. Both of them do that. And I don't know what it is about my house that causes them to always like overheat after a little while, but like whatever, it's fine. Okay, so this is actually going in the words category. And the other thing going in the words category is Caramia. This is by Witch's Garden Crafts, and I stitched this on 32 count Mixed Berry by Forbidden Fiber Co. This is a free pattern in the Witch's Garden Crafts Facebook group. And Caramia, it's from like the Addams Family. Like she says, Morticia calls Addams Moncheri and Gomez, and Gomez calls Morticia Caramia or Moncher. It's been a while since I bought it. I love this piece. I did end up starting it 3 times because I started it on this other linen, a witch linen, that I realized I didn't want to ever stitch on ever again. And then, oh, in my hot takes video, one of their hot takes was like that they thought really like modeled fabric, colorful modeled fabric takes away from the piece. And I said, well, it depends on like how you use it. This is an example where like I think the model fabric just kind of looks like kind of beautiful and dark and maybe a little creepy. Gives it kind of like a blood moon feel almost, but the black is so stark, and it's just that DMC 310 that I don't think that overpowers it at all. So I think it really is how you use it. Anyway, so when I was in that video, I referenced that I had a pattern that was like that, and this is what I was talking about, but you couldn't see it at the time. And this is a professional frame because I could not find a frame in the wild. So I also have kind of a rule. If I look for frames at 5 thrift stores and I can't find something, and then I kind of move on and get a custom frame, because normally I'm at thrift stores so much. I haven't been at thrift stores a lot the last 2 months because of childcare and school not being in session, but normally at thrift stores all the time, and I can but sometimes you just don't find a frame that works. So I did go ahead and get it custom framed, but I love it. I'm going to move, this was on my murder wall. I'm going to move it off of it because I think it gives creepy, spooky, not pretty, and sneaks up on you. I don't really know where to, I'm going to move all the cross stitches in my house when I get all the stuff back from the state fair, like kind of rearrange stuff. I don't know where to put that now because it doesn't really fit with where I originally intended it to be, but I don't really have any rooms in my house that are red. like all the colors in my house are like blues and teals, or like the reds I have are like more scarlet. So I love it, and it's like probably one of the more expensive, it's the most expensive frame in this pile of stuff, but I don't know where to put it. I don't know. I'll just think about it. I'll put it back in my office, but I might move it. I'm going to redo my gallery wall too that's in front of, oh, I normally film when I'm here in my office, but this amount of stuff that I need out, that was not going to work. So, but I'm going to redo the gallery wall behind me when I have all this stuff back. So maybe I'll put it in my gallery wall. Okay. Next one is my, is Easter Peep by Brenda Gervais. This is an out of print Brenda Gervais pattern. I have seen them going on eBay for a lot, but there are some available, I think, on eBay. This is a thrifted frame. When I originally framed it, it was really wrinkled, and so last night I did pull it out, put some quilt batting on it, which I think really helps with wrinkles too, having quilt batting on the board. Re-washed it to like get all of the wrinkles to release, and then lace it, and I like the results a lot better. It still is wrinkly in some of the exact same spots, which is wild to me because like I said, I like fully soaked it for an hour. So some of these wrinkles are just in it, but it's so much better. Like before you just looked at it and you're like, oh, wrinkles. Now I look at it, I'm like, okay, I see wrinkles in certain light and in certain light I do not. So I like it so much better. I did sell the pattern, so I don't have this pattern anymore. I got a point driver. So Helen D, who's like one of the original queens of finishing things, had been talking about her point driver, and I was like, you know what, like if I'm gonna do thrifted frames mostly, I need a point driver because it really changes the game in terms of what you can frame in and what you can frame in that maybe isn't a traditional frame if you can put the points in yourself. So this is the first thing I use my point driver on. And I didn't know I was going to relace it until I went ahead and bought the point driver, because I had it like kind of taped in a way that like once I undid that to pull it out, I was going to have to get point drivers. But anyway, it was so easy. It took me longer to figure out how to load it than it took me to figure out how to use it. And this actually putting the points in took like 2 minutes. It changed my life. So I highly recommend, if you're someone who likes to thrift a frame, you like to frame your own pieces and you do enough, I highly recommend a point driver. Like there's other things in my house right now that are not on the wall because I didn't have a point driver, that I'm going to go around next week and be like, you're going on the wall and you're going on the wall. Like not cross stitch stuff, but like other art and things. So all right, should we do the big one? Okay. So if you follow me on Instagram, or if you watched my last Flosstube, any of my last 2 Flosstubes, you know that this has been my main goal before the fair this year was to finish Blackbird Skie by the Primitive Needle. And I did it. I finished it today. I'm recording on Sunday. I finished it Friday night. I washed it. No, I finished it Friday morning. I washed it Friday night, and I framed it last night. Is the framing perfect? No, but I'm really happy with it. And if I had decided to try to finish it and get it professionally framed, it was not going to happen. So it was not going to get done in time to have it professionally framed before the fair. And I did go ahead and order an art to frame, so that, because I couldn't find one I liked for this size. This is kind of a strange non-standard size. And then also with the straight borders, I thought, okay, it's going to be hard enough for me to get this in there pretty straight. Let me give myself the advantage of starting with a perfectly cut mat board. So with the discount and everything, I got 2 frames from Art to Frame for $52, and both of the frames were like big frame. So I was pretty, I mean, obviously like thrifted frame prices are better, but for this piece, I couldn't find a frame I liked that worked. And I wanted the pre-cut board because of the straight lines. And so I think I saved myself $100 on custom framing, or more because of how big this piece is. So this was an out of print pattern for a very long time. If you want to know more about the primitive needle, you can watch my interview with Mariah, who is the daughter of the designer Lisa. Lisa passed away in 2011, I believe, and Mariah is now recharting her designs. And she gave me the, like, during the interview, she gave me a copy of this pattern, like, just because I said it, I really, like, it was the next thing I wanted to stitch. And that was so sweet that I wanted to just, like, honor that and make it be something I really focused on, and I focused on it. The last time you guys saw it, 2 weeks ago, I was in block 4, and since then I finished block 4, block 5, block 6, and this bottom border. I ran out of the black. I thought I had enough black. I did run out because I had, if you've been following along, you know I had to frog about 2,000 stitches out of this because I did the frame wrong and I had to fix parts of the frame. And I did run out of the black, and I had to like emergency order a skein of black from Color and Cotton and pray that it matched. And it did, but I also ordered a skein of this green because I was worried I might not have enough. I did have enough, luckily, because the skein of the green that I got did not match. Like, I could have made it work because I could have like done a strand of the old and a strand of the new if I needed to, but like it did not match. And so I literally went and did a calculator of like, do I have enough to do this bottom border green without using any of the new skein? And I did. But I'm so glad to have that other skein in case something, like if I needed to frog anything, it would have been over. But yeah, it did not match. So that was a risk. But I'm so happy with it. I think it's so beautiful. I think even though my framing is not perfect, basically the center line lines up where it should be the whole way, but like it kind of moves in and out and isn't like perfectly tight. I use Lindy stitches. I always use Lindy stitches lacing framing tutorials, but I actually went and re-watched it again. Just to be like, okay, this is the biggest piece I'll have ever laced. Let me just double check that I'm doing it right. And there was a tool that she had that I had never invested in that I do think I want to get. And maybe if I put this on the wall and the margins bother me, at some point I may re-lace it. But I actually, like, is it perfect? Absolutely not. But I adore it, and I am very happy with the framing. And I actually got it to sit like this on the first try, and so I was kind of worried if I messed with it, I may never get it back to this as good as this, so I just didn't want to take the risk, and so I just left it. So I'm obsessed with it. I can't wait till it's hanging in my house after the fair. I did decide not to enter it as a sampler. I decided to enter it in the like there's a category that's like for finishes that aren't on Ada. And one second. So I just chickened out because like the last 2 years that I've been entering, the person who's won sampler category has had a giant long dog and a 60,000 stitch long dog, even though this I think is amazing and it's huge and it's almost a full fat quarter fabric. Oh, it's on 32 count vintage pear by Lakeside Linen, which is the call for color. It's called 4 to 40. I did it in a 32 and I did a color and cotton conversion, which I need to post online now that it's like done and I like the whole conversion. Anyway, so like it just wouldn't be able to compete if like someone enters pandemic in sampler or something. So I decided to move it to the linen category to give it a better chance to shine. We'll see, you know, part of me is like, well, what if it could win samplers? But part of me is like, somebody's going to turn in a long dog. Like someone's going to turn in a long dog and I'll be so annoyed if it comes in like 4th in samplers. So, I mean, it could come in 4th in linen too, but it's just like, I just feel like there is a bigger chance that somebody is going to turn in a magnificent sampler. So I'm going to put it in the linen category. And I have something else for the sampler category because you can enter 2 things per category, but it's not like I'm not turning in a sampler. I just decided I put in so much work. Let's give it just its best chance. Okay. Next thing, this was my other Make It Murder piece. This is Hello Summer by Erin Elizabeth Designs. I took the crab out and there's like a little dead body, but again, I didn't have to tell them anything about the pieces. I'm just turning them in. So I don't even know if they're going to notice that, but if they do, it's fine. I am putting this in the outdoor. This is also in the outdoor category. Oh, and it's stitched on 28 count mushroom Lugana, which is the called for. And this is a Goodwill like word art frame. And it had staples that I used, but this is a perfect example of something where like a point driver. I don't know if I could get the point driver in this small space, but if I could have, this would be the perfect example of something that a point driver would be great to turn it into a frame if it wasn't a frame. But looking at it, it might actually be too small to stick the whole point driver in. But it doesn't matter because it has staples, it's fine. And this has been out all summer as my summer decor, and I have enjoyed it so much. Okay, so I stopped and I did the membership stitch together because that was, there wasn't going to be a way for me to film this all at once. And I had some pieces that actually weren't framed yet. So I did start filming this finished parade with 3 of the things I'm going to show you not fully finished. But I'm back. We had the membership Zoom. It was really fun. And I got the pieces. I got the pieces that I needed to get framed while I was on the Zoom. I just did that instead of stitching. Sometimes people who like will be like organizing floss or whatever, it's kind of nice to have like people to talk to while you do that kind of stuff. I actually think talking to people while I was framing was a really good experience because it kept me from being like too in my head like that I didn't want to be doing it. Anyway, so we have 5 FFOs left and some pieces that are not going to get finished, and so let's dive back in. Okay, so I'll show you one of the things I FFO'd on the call is the Witch's Cabinet. This was a stitch along from Witch's Garden Crafts in 2023. This was my second oldest WIP, but it had been like, I only needed 1,000 stitches to finish it. I just hadn't wanted to work on it since the stitch along ended. And so when I finished Black and Sky, I did pull this out and I had 7 motifs left and I had to decide what I want to do at the bottom, and I had to decide what I want to do about this motif up here because I didn't love what was originally charted was beautiful, but it felt, what was originally charted for this and for the bottom felt like too, like not delicate enough compared to the rest of how delicate the rest of these motifs were. So I just wanted to change them. So I took the words out. I was originally going to change the script. It says Witch's Cabinet and I was going to change the script. But when I realized that I needed to actually make this piece shorter to fit in an 8x10 frame, I was like, okay, well, I'll just make feet for the cabinet instead of having the words, which I think works really well. And then this motif, it was a triple moon, which was really pretty. But I couldn't figure out a way to rechart that and have it be like delicate enough without doing a bunch of backstitch that I didn't want to do. So I saw the Mystic sampler from the Primitive Needle, and I fell in love with it. And I was like, well, I'm going to do this anyway. So I got the pattern and I stitched the hat and the star motif are from that pattern. And it just fit perfectly in here. And I just used colors from the color palette already so that it would kind of fit in. And I didn't want to pick bold colors so that if it did seem like slightly stylistically off, it wouldn't be the thing that stands out the most. And once I stitched this, I did this first when I picked this back up, and then the rest of the motifs were easy. And I only spent 2 days on this. Like, it took 2 days to finish, and I've had it in my WIP pile for 2 years. But mostly it was because I didn't know what I wanted to do, and once I knew what I wanted to do, it was really easy. And then this is just a thrift store frame, and I put on a layer of quilt batting, and it did close up without the glass with the quilt batting. It's not wrinkled at all because this is on 28 count Lugana, even weave that was dyed by Witch's Garden Crafts called Lavender Mist. And it was the recommended fabric for the Sal. And I used all the call for flosses. So I'm just so happy it's done. My daughter loves it. My son thinks it's spooky, which is Halloween. My daughter really likes it. It'll be really fun when it comes back from the fair to have it be in my little seasonal area. Like I have a very small seasonal display to be out for Halloween this year. So very happy that that is out of my wood pile. And I finished that last night at midnight at 11:50, and then I washed it, and that's why I couldn't frame it until today because it was not dry. The other thing I framed during the call is this Sweet Summer Come Again by Blackbird Designs. This thrifted frame, I think this was $1. I think this was in something I bought in the Come Cross Stitch Thrifting With Me video that I posted last summer. And so it's just been sitting there waiting for the right project to come along. And I just think this is perfect. I was originally going to make this a pillow, but you'll see later, I just decided I didn't want to sew anything. And so I put it in the frame, and I just think like the mesh on the sides kind of gives like a garden feel, like a little fenced off garden, and the strawberries are so sweet. When I washed it, the red, I had color catchers in there with it, but the red did bleed, and so I put it back in with the color catcher for longer, and with the color catcher sitting over the bleed, and it came back out. So there might be like tiny little spots of color bleeding, but I really don't see it. It really did come out pretty good. And I stitched this on 32 count vintage porcelain from Lakeside Linen with the called for, no, I did a full conversion to Gentle Arts, and I have that up on my Instagram. And I am obsessed with this design in this frame. I feel like this frame makes this design seem so much more substantial, like not bigger, but more substantial than it felt like when I was stitching it. And it will be really fun next summer to have this out all summer. So when it comes back from the fair, I'll probably put it out for a little while and then put it away till next summer. So the back, at first the back looked really messy. I was able to kind of pry the thing back on it that goes there, but it doesn't sit great. I might replace this when it comes back, but probably not till next summer. The third thing I framed in the call is not by me, it was by Allison. I'll show that at the end. I have two finishes that are FFOs left. So this is Moon Glow by Nora Corbett. I did show this finish in our most recent Flosstube. I love her. This is the other art to frame that I got. I didn't cover the back, but I got this from Art to Frame. I couldn't find a frame that I liked. I didn't want a bold color frame that was going to take away the impact of how delicate and ethereal she is. And this like periwinkle blue that they had just felt like it was going to be perfect. This color is in parts of the modeling on the fabric, especially towards the edge. And I felt like it really just made the center design stand out even more. This was pretty easy to frame. There are a few places where I don't like how like the beads are laying, but I'm also trying not to mess with them too much. Like when it's up on my wall, I'm not going to care if one or two beads is laying a little bit not like perfect, but it is a good lesson for my next time I'm beading, like to really pay attention to the tension and stuff. Because there are places where it's perfect, and then there's places where they're falling a little bit. But I stitched this on 28 count Paranormal by Bestitch Me. And I love her. I think I was going to do a Mirabilia wall. I don't think I'm going to stitch any of my Mirabilias like fast enough that makes sense. But I have a lot of patterns with moons in them. And some of them are going to be finished pretty soon. So I think what I want to do is have a moon wall in my bedroom. And like do mixed media with like stitching things that I'm stitching that have moons on them, and then also like art that has moons in them. So I'm so happy. Like I feel like this just turned out So perfect. Between the two, this and the Black and Sky frame, like I said, taxes and shipping, everything included, it was $52. I think this one was like $23. So more than a thrifted frame, but it came with the perfectly cut foam. And I looked and looked and looked for thrifted frames for this piece, and I just never found one that I thought really worked for her. So I am thrilled. Thrilled. Okay, the last frame piece that I have has been sitting in my living room all year. This is 2024, Stitch for Pride 2024 by Dees 20 Stitches. I finished this January 5th, so I didn't finish it during the stitch along, but I finished it right after. I stitched this on 28 count sugar cream pie by Bestitch Me, and I stitched it with stash silks that looked like the called for, as close as I could get to the called for from my own stash collection. I didn't buy anything for it. I do think this is one where I think I do want to either get it professionally framed or order an archer frame for it. This frame size is a little big, and I couldn't find anything that I liked better. And I washed every other piece, and even and none of the pieces bled when I use a color catcher. I'm afraid to wash this one because of just how much silk. Like I want to take it out, wash it, release it in a different frame. Like I've been enjoying it all year, and I'm glad it's up, but I think I'm a better framer now than I was in January. But I didn't want to do that for the fair because I didn't have time or the budget to get a new frame for the fair. And I didn't want to, if I'm going to reframe it, I want to wash it. And if I'm going to wash it, there's a little bit of a risk with this piece. And I didn't want to take that risk before submitting it to the fair. Oh, this pattern is by Dees 20 Stitches, and it was a year-long stitch along last year. It's not available now. I don't believe it. I don't know when it or if it will be available in the future. I just love this piece so much, but I do think I want to try to wash it with some good color catcher, and I just didn't want to do that before the fair. So it's all that is to say, there's no layer of quilt batting underneath it, and it is a little bit wrinkly, and I really thought hard about, do I want to take it down and redo it like I did Easter Peep or not? And I just decided I do want to redo it, but I didn't want to take the risk that with the flosses before the fair. So I just decided I'm gonna turn it into the fair in a little bit wrinkled state. It's going in the linen category. It'll be okay. But I do think at some point you'll be seeing that as like a re-FFO, because I just think it's been so nice being up on my wall. I think it could look a little bit better, and I think it's a piece that I care enough about to make it look better, but I'm not at the point yet where I'm ready to invest in it. Like if I wash it and it bleeds a little bit, I'll be okay, but like if it bleeds a lot, I'll be super sad about it. But I also I just am somebody who I like to wash my pieces. I don't like to not wash them. And I didn't wash that because of the silks, and it bothers me. And I know that's silly, and I know people have unwashed stuff all the time, but it's personal. But anyway. Oh, this is going in the Halloween category. That is Stitch for Pride's going in the linen category, and this is going in it's linen or Lagana. It's basically non-Ada. This is going in the patriotic category, because it is technically a Blackbird summer design, and I didn't have a better category for it. Okay, so that's all the FFOs I have that are my pieces. I want to show you the one I did for Allison. You guys saw recently that she finished this model for me and gave it to me, and I did enter it in the outdoor category. I'm going to double check with her before I actually take it. I am going to double check with her when I go see her in about 15 minutes if she's cool with me entering it. If not, it's fine. It needed to be FFO'd anyway, and it belongs to me, so I needed to FFO it so that I can release the pattern. But I did go ahead and FFO it today on the call, And this was one where the point driver came in clutch because the backing didn't fit back on it with all the stuff that needed to go in this frame. So I just put some points in it and hammered a little sawtooth on it, and I think it's perfect. This was stitched on 16 count gridded Ada. You can see that the grid came out. I was going to try to film that process, but it didn't. I have not had any time to do anything in the last 2 weeks, basically. Okay, now I have some pieces that are not going in the fair, there's still things I finished in the last year that I want to show as part of the finish braid. What you need to understand happened was I finished Let It Snow, Snowflake Stocking by MKissa Creations. It was in the Just Cross Stitch magazine. I even showed it on Instagram recently. I don't know if I have a good picture of it, but I showed it on Instagram recently as like a part of like a tablescape of things I was about to FFO. I tried to sew the stocking by hand and it turned out poorly. I made some cutting errors, and apparently I can't sew anymore. It's been a really long time, but I thought it'd be easier than it, anyway. So I can't show that today because I need to rip the sewing out of the stitches out of it and see if I can salvage it or if the margin is too short. And if the margin's too short, that's okay, but it's not like a piece. I could salvage part of it as an ornament. I wouldn't be able to salvage it. I probably can salvage like some of it as an ornament. I probably can't salvage it as a stocking. So I'm gonna have to maybe restitch it. We'll see. Anyway, all that is to say is I did finish it, but I might have ruined it trying to FFO it. And I don't want to sew anything. So when that happened, I already kind of decided I wasn't going to try to sew these other things, but that just reinforced that it was not the right time. I didn't have time in the last 2 weeks to have, to get my sewing machine out and try to get reacquainted with it and do any projects on it. So I just didn't sew. So I did finish. This is Evergreen. This is an ornament by Summer House Stitchworks. That was in the Lindy Stitches Jingle Ball Baubles book. I don't remember which one. I stitched this on 28 count Dusty Cottage by Stitch Me, and I just picked stash fabric or stash flosses. So I decided I was not going to finish Christmas ornaments, but I am entering 2 Christmas ornaments because you can enter things for 2 years. And last year Allison fully finished some Christmas ornaments for me, but I could only enter 2 of them, so I have 2 that weren't entered last year. So I'm just going to enter those instead this year. So if I decide that I want to enter any of these next year, I can. So that was the first one. And then the second ornament is Christmas Bear Ornament by Stacy Nash. I did my own conversion to DMC from the Weeks Dye Works. This is also in the Jingle Ball Baubles book. I think the last year's, but I'm not sure. And it's on 16 count Ada that I dyed myself. And he's so cute, but I want to do him as a pillow, not a fully as an ornament anyway. But I couldn't sew anything. Okay. These next 2 I think are going to make sense to you, that I wasn't sewing things. So obviously I wasn't going to learn how to make a drum for the first time ever if I don't want to sew anything. So this is Love Drum. This is by Bendy Stitchy Designs. Michelle, this was Michelle's design in the same collab that I did this one in, but I don't think this one is available yet, so my guess is it'll be available sometime next year, but I'm not 100%. It's on 16 count Ada that I dyed myself, and I do need to make it a drum because I put these at different heights. You can't super tell, but I would like to finish it as the drum that it is called to be. I think it'll be so cute next year on my Valentine's display. I couldn't sew. So beautiful, and I'm kind of sad about that one not going in because I think it would have done well. But I don't want to sew anything. And then the last, well, I have 2 more. So this is Garden of Zig by Ink Circles. I decided to stop here. I need to frog this out. But this is a finish because I'm not putting another stitch in. And I'm going to finish this as a drum as well. But this is on Into the Veil by Stitch Me, but this is on 40 count, and I just can't see 40 count. So I'm done. I'm going to do it as a drum, but I, again, was not going to sew anything. So it's a finish, but it's not an FFO. Okay. And then the last one is Stitch for Pride 2025 I I finished the April motif, but I can't find it. I can't find my project bag for Stitch for Pride, which is not good, because the reason I'm calling that a finish is because I want to do the whole sampler like I did 2024's, but I have the call for flosses. Like I bought the floss pack, but I hated my fabric. So I got new fabric and I want to restart it, but I can't find my project bag with the flosses in it. So it will pop up. I'm sure it will turn up in the next couple weeks. I'm not super stressed about it, but I can't show you the finish. So I'm going to insert a screenshot of me showing it at some other point because I don't think I ever even took a photo of it. But I'm never going to stitch this on this one again, and I'm going to save the stitches and turn it into like a pillow, but not today. So those are my the things I want to do like soft finishes on that that really couldn't be framed, that I just didn't want to sew. This one could have been, the original intention was to make it a pillow, but this is the only one of those that also made sense in a frame, which meant I could go ahead and FFO it. If I actually think this frame is so perfect for it that I'm just going to leave it in here forever. But if I wanted to take it out and turn it into a pillow, obviously I could. But none of these, like I want these to be drums. I want this to be a pillow, and I want this to be an ornament, so it didn't make sense to frame them. And Stitch for Pride 2025, I want that to be a pillow, but also I don't know where it is, so I couldn't frame it even if I wanted to. All right, so that is everything I finished since late August. I'm not sure what the exact total is. Let's see, 5, 6, 19. I think I had 19 finishes, which is about the same as last year. I was going into this, I did think like, oh, I didn't have as many good finishes as last year, but I think I actually did. I think I had bigger finishes than last year, but also smaller finishes. Like I think I had more smalls and a few more bigger things, but I'm glad that I decided to go ahead and finish Witch's Cabinet and Black and Sky, because those are obviously, and Moonglow. Like without those three, this would look much more meager for the year. So putting a lot of my time over the last 2 months into finishing those was a good idea. I'm very happy though with, like, I feel like I stitched a reproduction sampler, a modern sampler, some seasonal stuff, gift stuff, murdery stuff. I finished my first Nora Corbett. I feel very good about what happened over the last year, especially considering some of the limitations to my stitching time and things that I've experienced. So I'm happy with where things ended up. I'm excited to take them to the fair. When I do my state fair wrap-up video, I will let you guys know what things got ribbons, but if something didn't get a ribbon, I won't re-show it because, what is the point of that? So some of these you probably won't see again unless you just happen to see it, on the wall of my house, or I pull it out for a specific video, like here's all the Halloween things I've ever stitched or something. But some of these you guys will see again in that state fair wrap-up video. And I should take pictures of all of them when I get them all back, just to be whatever. But also I'm going to take a video at the state fair of all the stuff on display at the fair. They don't have to display everything, so some stuff might not be out, but I'll do. So anyway, so you'll see these 1 or 2 more times, and then we'll move on to new stuff unless it happens to be hanging behind me in my office. So I got a lot more projects out there, so it's kind of nice to get these cleared to move on to the next ones. And I gotta say, I was gonna do an art to frame full review video, and then I just didn't have the bandwidth to be filming that while I was unboxing or FFOing or anything. But I'm quite impressed with the art to frame frames in terms of how easy they were to use and how good they look. Obviously, if I had $100 or $200 to get Black and Sky custom framed, I might, but that wasn't in the budget right now. So for the $30 I spent on that frame, I feel very happy about it. Would have loved a $5 frame even more, but, and then alternatively, if I find like a frame I really like this one, taking it in and getting them to frame it is about $25. So then the process is like $30. So about the same as an art to frame can be. So it just depends on what the piece is and what frame I want and stuff. But anyway, yeah. All right, I'm gonna get a place with this. I feel very at peace with, okay, this last year's stitching was productive. I did save the productivity a lot in the last 3 months though. And that'll probably happen again next year too. So, all right, I'm gonna go take everything. Well, okay, I'm gonna wrap all this stuff in quilt batting. Pack it up in the car, stop at Allison's house, pick up those other 2 ornaments, and see if she's cool with me dropping this off, or if she's like breaking up with it. We'll see. I don't know. This is going in the outdoor category if it does get entered, so I could see her. So like that category is very competitive. Like the stuff that she had that could have placed first are stuff she didn't frame. Like the smaller ones that were used to frame are the stuff that doesn't like place as high. So I don't know what she'll say, but if she doesn't let me frame it or enter it, at least it's done and so beautiful. Her stitching is so beautiful. Okay, I made it. I went to Allison's house. She gave me permission to enter Bear Lake. No, she did give me permission that, but she also gave me permission to enter Snow White. So the 2 things she had framed are going in. She just wasn't framing anything else. And I made it. I'm going inside to check stuff in, and I'll let you guys know how it goes when I get the results. But all right, I'm just rambling now because I'm really avoiding all the work I have to do in the next like 3 hours to finish this out. But okay, well, thank you guys so much. I'm gonna try to have a video on Thursday. I really am. I don't know what it's gonna be, but I'm gonna film something on Wednesday because my daughter's gonna go to my mom's either Wednesday or Thursday, and I'm gonna film something during that time. Like not the whole time, but I'm gonna make sure something goes up on Thursday. I miss you guys, and I like having the like personal stitching on Mondays, bigger topics or things on Thursdays, and I miss that. And then I will be back next Monday for a Flosstube. I have there's some other stuff that I stitched in the last couple weeks that I want to show. I have a new start plan tonight, and I have some secret stitching that I won't be able to show, but like can at least account for number of stitches and things. So I am excited to show you guys. I'm excited to turn these in and then to do other things. So, all right, thanks so much. If you're not subscribed, subscribe, especially if you want to see how all of this stuff turns out. That just means that the video goes in your feed. And I would love to know, if you made it to the end of this video, tell me what your favorite project was that I stitched, or if you've stitched any of these 2, or if you're working on any of these, let me know. And then leave a Halloween emoji, because this guy really snuck itself in at midnight the night before. Like, this guy was like really a last minute down to the wire. I'm happy he's going to the fair, but we didn't know if that was going to the fair or not. So leave your favorite Halloween emoji, and I will see you guys on Thursday. And members, I'll see you on Sunday. Okay, bye.